There are patterns emerging with this case that people do not see because they're so focused on race. These little social justice crash outs that want to grow their platforms can't wait for these incidents, events to happen so they can come online and talk about how woe is us, woe is them, woe is the situation. And this situation has been going on since 400 years of slavery. We can't stop bringing up 400 years of slavery. We can't stop bringing up the yokes of iron around our neck during chattel slavery. We always have to place ourselves in the box of being a victim because we think people around the world are going to point fingers at the other race, blame them while pitying us. And I told you this before. Nobody in any other race out there care. They may say they care. They don't care. They care enough to make sure their following count grows and they get reposted, retweeted, and get liked. That's pretty much as far as social justice goes online. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can complain about. They won't do an act. They won't do a law. They're not going to change anything in the Supreme Court to make you Negroes safe in this country. This is where it comes from, understanding the knowledge of self and understanding who you are. But because you don't understand who you are, a large amount of you understand color. So anytime there's color, your color in particular, is thrown out there as the victim, you leech onto it. Y'all still are living your lives based with this ideology in your head about white supremacy, about how strong white folk are out here, and when you're around them, you should be in fear for your life. You should not be scared of these people or any people on Yah's green earth if you truly knew who you were. But let's go over these patterns. These patterns that you're not seeing. And most of you won't understand these patterns because I'm going to talk in symbols, I'm going to talk in numerology, and I'm going to talk in gematria. And if you don't understand these forms of communication, you are going to be lost. Not in just this event. With Nolan Xavier Wells, you're going to be lost on whatever they use to energy harvest you. They went and hired Benjamin Crump. Why would you need to hire Benjamin Crump? If you're supposedly wanting to stay private, which I don't know why people say this, it's a public case that's on mainstream media. He's the most known black lawyer in this country when it comes to anything happening from the opposite race. Yet we're supposed to respect your privacy. All right. So anytime Benjamin Crump is involved, I know it's going to be gatekept, and I know Freemasonry is behind this entire case now. That's how I know. So if Freemasonry is behind it, I know numerology is behind it. I know symbolism is behind it. All I got to do is look deep into it. I can find it. Now, I don't know why they hired Benjamin Crump since he lost his first case when George Zimmerman hunted down Trayvon Martin and unalived him. The first time you knew who Benjamin Crump was that case. He didn't win that case. I think y'all are lost and thinking that he's a lawyer that wins. He didn't win that case. But when you go to the pictures of the court case, you see George Zimmerman with his thumbs in a pyramid. You research Trayvon Martin's father and know that he is a Prince Hall from out here in Fort Lauderdale. This is where his lodge is, in Fort Lauderdale. After his son gets unalived, they get boosted up, being around Jay-Z and Beyonce on mainstream media platforms. His mother, she didn't have no inch to be part of a black sorority at the time her son alive. As soon as he was dead, she wanted to be a Delta. You know, the ones that do their hands in a pyramid. So I know after that, being connected to Benjamin Crump, who was also a Prince Hall, I know it's going to be some Freemasonry in this case with Nolan Xavier Wells. I've already have questions of why his name is Nolan Xavier Wells when his mother don't have that name and supposedly the father doesn't have that name. So it makes it seem like that's not his real father. Or I don't know. It just seems odd that he don't share the last name of the mother and father. So I don't know where this kid comes from. So he gets on a boat trip with a bunch of white friends, and they go out to Horn Island. I mean, you might as well call it Devil Horn Island. Numerology behind Horn Island is 33 and 36. Did you know, and you can research me if I'm wrong on this, did you know that July 4th to the day of Nolan's 19th birthday is 36 days apart. And what is 36? Really 666 if you really lay it out. Was he there for just to hang out with a white girl and they got mad or jealous or they just left him because they didn't care for him? All right. Whatever you want to say, that happened, it happened. Okay. They get back. As soon as they get back, they lawyer up. They deactivate their Instagrams. They unfollow him, which is what you would do if you were in a murder case and you know the court of public opinion is going to start stirring up. You know, that's the first thing people do is go check your socials. They check what type of person you are. So they're trying to gatekeep the narrative behind these four boys. Some people caught pictures before they activated. It just so happens the picture I found was him with his friend next to a checkerboard. I don't know if it's everything, but I also don't know if it's nothing. Whatever happened, he's gone. And it just so happens that around the same exact time, there was another incident where a white family that just so happens to be traveling down a river, that just so happens to hear a bunch of white kids taunting a black kid for not swimming, and yet this black kid is standing in the water next to the shore with a life vest on. And this white family just so happens to have it on video and listening to this argument between white kids and this black boy. Just at the same time as this Nolan Xavier Wells incident. And y'all don't think that seems off? Y'all don't see that pattern? Just like the pattern of the Carmelo Anthony incident that happened the same day that Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player, was going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So let me go back to Horn Island and the numerology behind that. When I use septenary, it means to count in 7. Did you know 7 years ago, which mirrors this Nolan Xavier incident, 7 years ago, Tamla Horsford was around a bunch of white women. She was found dead. And they said that she fell over the balcony or whatever. And everybody covered it up and nobody went back to that case to even see what happened to the women or anybody involved after that. But that happened 7 years ago, on November 4th, 2018. If I take 11, 4, and 18, what's that add up to? 33. So everything is connected. Everything becomes a pattern. And take the color out of it. Because this is how the energy harvests you, against your own ignorance.